If you have known me for any length of time, you'll know that my trip to Nicaragua in the year 2012 was very formative for me in several different ways. And one of those ways I'm discussing today, and that's meat. I've always eaten meat, but as a small child I was a big animal lover. When I saw roadkill I would burst into tears, and the idea of hurting or killing animals was just horrific to me. It was very emotional. But then when I was 17, I spent the year in Nicaragua, spent the summer in Nicaragua in the year 2012. And at one point while we were down there, we got to know this little family down a dirt road. And they were butchers. They butcher pigs for people nearby. And I got to talking to the butcher, and he said, "Hey, why don't you come over in the wee hours one morning and we'll butcher a pig together, you and I. You can come see how we do it." And I told him I would get back to him on it because I was such an animal lover. But my mother was on the trip, the same trip with me. And I talked to her extensively about it. And I told her that I expected one of two things to happen. Either being a part of killing this animal was going to scar me for life, or it was going to be the coolest things I'd ever done. And I had to know which one it was going to be. So I ultimately decided to go. So I got up around 2 or 3 one morning, went off to this butcher's house, and I watched him kill this pig. And I helped him cut it up into meat, and then we ate breakfast off of it, and it was life-changing. He offered me the knife to slit the pig's throat for him, and I said, no, I'm not ready for that. And he did it himself, and then we butchered it together and we ate it, and it was a whole different experience with meat than I'd ever experienced before. I respected the meat more. It was more valuable to me. It was almost sacred. I'm careful to say almost, because it wasn't sacred per se, but it was almost there. It was a deep respect. There's something different in looking an animal in the eye and watching it breathe and hearing its last breath, and then just an hour later or 2 hours later, however long, eating the muscle tissue from that animal. It's a deep, deep experience. And looking back on it, I've been telling people ever since that I never understood meat until that night. I didn't even really, deep down, I almost didn't even know what meat was. Not really. Like, I knew it up here, but I didn't know it here. But now I know it in both, in my head and in my heart. I feel like I understand meat now, and I've been telling people that chances are if you've never attended the death of an animal you're going to eat, you don't understand meat either. I'm not going to say that that's definitely true, but it feels true after what I've experienced. And I do hunt. I do trap. I've killed animals and eaten them before, looked them in the eye and killed them, watched their last breath, felt their blood on my hands. And the meat tastes better, and it's more precious, and I waste less. And I have this drive to learn to use every part of the animal. I'm not there yet, but I feel it. I want to get into hide tanning. I want to make things out of the bones, or give the bones away to people who will use them. I'm already boiling the bones of my kills and of the bones of the kills of other hunters who will let me take them, because I want to see these animals respected. I want to see their bodies used rightly and completely as we can. So yeah, that's the basic message of this video, is if you haven't attended the killing of a food animal, you may not understand meat. The next time I went to that butcher's house to butcher a pig with him, I did kill the pig, and that was a different experience. I won't get into the gory details here, but it involved a knife and the pig's neck, I'll say that. But yeah, it did end up becoming one of the coolest things I've ever done. And it was a formative, life-changing experience. I recommend it to everyone. Even if you think you're squeamish, work your way toward it. I think that it's something that everyone should see. If you're going to eat meat, I think you should watch one of these animals die, so you can understand what meat really entails, what it requires before it comes to you. It is the ending of a life, and you know that intellectually. You know that up here. I know you do. But most of us don't know it in here. So I would encourage you, find a way to attend the death of a food animal. And if you can, get some of that meat so you can have a part of that experience inside you, a part of you.